So we'll take up Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 84, Text 13. What is your sloka? Huh? You are on the WhatsApp? You are on the WhatsApp? No? We have sent already. Okay. You catch up with your neighbor. You have to come. इसको move करे तो बंद कर दे. यस्यात्म बुद्धि कुनपेत्र धातुके यस्यात्म बुद्धि कुनपेत्र धातुके स्वदीहि कलत्रादिषु भौमयुज्यदिः स्वदीहि कलत्रादिषु भौमयुज्यदिः यत्तीर्थबुद्धि सलिलेन कर्हिचित् यत्तीर्थबुद्धिः सलिलेन कर्हिचित् जने सविज्ञेषु स एव गोकरः जने सविज्ञेषु स एव गोकरः यस्यात्म बुद्धिः कुनपेतृ धातुके स्वदीहि कलत्रादिषु भौमयुज्यदिः यत्तीर्थबुद्धिः सलिलेन कर्हिचित् जने सविज्ञेषु स एव गोकरः यस्यात्म बुद्धिः कुनपेतृ धातुके स्वदीहि कलत्रादिषु भौमयुज्यदिः यत्तीर्थबुद्धिः सलिलेन कर्हिचित् जने सविज्ञेषु स एव गोकरः यस्यात्म बुद्धिः कुनपेतृ धातुके स्वधि कलत्रादिषु भौमयुज्यदिः यत्तीर्थबुद्धिः सलिलेन कर्हिचित् जने सविज्ञेषु स एव गोकरः
यस्यात्म बुद्धि कुनपेतृ धातुके स्वधि कलत्रादिषु भौमयुज्यदिः
कलत्रादिषु भौमयुज्यदिः
तीर्थबुद्धि सलिलेन कर्हिचित्
यत्तीर्थबुद्धि सलिलेन कर्हिचित्
जनेषु अभिज्ञेषु स एव गोकरः
जने सविज्ञेषु स एव गोकरः.
यस्यात्म बुद्धि गुणते त्रिधातुके स्वधि कलत्रादिषु होम इज्जति यतीर्थ बुद्धि सविदेन करिचे जनेष्वभिज्ञेषु स एव गोचरः
By the way, this verse is spoken by Lord Krishna in Bhagavatam. He is speaking. We hear that in Kurukshetra there was a solar eclipse. So Krishna, along with the entire family, he went from Vrindavan. The Vrajavasis also went. So there in Kurukshetra, the sages, knowing that Krishna and everyone is there, they came to see Lord Krishna. And Krishna is playing the role of a Kshatriya. Sages are Brahmanas. So Krishna actually welcomes them, worships them, and speaks to them this. He is spoken by Lord Krishna to the sages. We'll discuss. Try to recite. Who is the next volunteer? Yashyatma buddhi kunate tridhatuke Svadhi kalatra yuvama hijjati Yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichi Jani sabhigneshu saeva gokara. Yashatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke Svadhi kalatra vishubhoma ijjati Yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichi Jani sabhigneshu saeva gokara.
Yashatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke
Yashatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke
Svadhi kalatradi shubhoma ijjati
Svadhi kalatradi shubhoma ijjati
Yatirtha buddhi salilena kirtihi
Yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichi
Janeshvabhikyeshu satsu eva gokaraha
Jane sabhigneshu saeva
यस्यात्म बुद्धि गुणते त्रिधातुके
Yashatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke
कलत्रेषु बहुमातिशति
Svadhi kalatra shubhoma ijjati
बुद्धि सलिलेन करिचे
Yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichi Jane sabhigneshu saeva gokara. Yes.
Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke
Yashatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke
Svadhi kalatradi shubhoma ijjati
Svadhi kalatra vishubhoma ijjati
Yatirtha buddhi salilena karshati
Yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichi
Janeshvabhikyeshu saeva gokara Yashatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke
Yashatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke
Svadhi kalatradi shubhoma ijjati
Svadhi kalatra vishubhoma ijjati
Yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichi
यतीर्थ बुद्धि सलिले न कर्हिषे
ज्ञानेषु अविज्ञेषु स एव गोकारः
जने सभिघ्नेषु स एव गोकरः यस्यात्मबुद्धि कुणते त्रिधातुके स्वधिकलत्रादिषु भौम इज्यति यतीर्थ बुद्धि सलिलेन कर्हिषे जने सविघ्नेषु स एव गोकरः यस्यात्मबुद्धि कुणते त्रिधातुके स्वधिकलत्रादिषु भौम इज्यति यतीर्थ बुद्धि सलिलेन कर्हिषे जने सविघ्नेषु स एव गोकरः यस्यात्मबुद्धि कुणते त्रिधातुके स्वधिकलत्रादिषु भौम इज्यति यतीर्थ बुद्धि सलिलेन कर्हिषे जने सविघ्नेषु स एव गोकरः. Want to try? यस्यात्मबुद्धि कुणते त्रिधातुके स्वधिकलत्रादिषु भौम इज्यति यतीर्थ बुद्धि सलिलेन कर्हिषे जने सविघ्नेषु स एव गोकरः. Anybody, Zoom participant? Advaita Hari Prabhu, Mahadevi, Mataji, Sanjay, Ranjani ji. Any of you want to recite? You can unmute if you want to recite. Advaita Hari. Hare Krishna. Hopefully
Hare
you
Krishna,
are.
Prabhuji. One moment, I'm just. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Want to recite?
Can you? Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Yasya Atma Buddhi Kunape Tridhanuke Dhatuke
Buddhi kunate tridhatuke
Swadhi Kalatra Dhishu Bhoma Idyadhi
Svadhi kalatra dishubhoma ijjati
Yatirtha Buddhi Salilena Karhiche Karhiji
Buddhi salilena karhiche
Janeshwa Bhigneshu Sa Eva Gokhara
Sabhigneshu sa eva gokara. Sanjay, Ranjani,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
want to try?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke
Yashyatma buddhi kunate tridhatuke
swadhi kalatra disubhauma ijjadhi
Svadhi kalatra dishubhoma ijjati
yat tirtha buddhi salilena karhichi
Yatita buddhi
जनेषु अभिजेषु स एव गोखरा
जनेषु विघ्नेषु स एव गोकर्णः. Madhavi Devi, Mataji.
Hare
Is
Krishna,
there?
Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Prabhuji, I'm in Seva, I'm listening, Prabhuji, sorry.
Do you want to recite?
No, Prabhuji, next time. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
All right. Translation and purport by His Divine. Okay, you are busy or? Okay, Ranjani ji, you read
Hare
the
Krishna.
translation. Read the translation.
Yeah. Translation. One who identifies his self as the inert body composed of mucus, bile, and air, who assumes his wife and family are permanently his own, who thinks an earthen image or the land of his birth is worshipable, or who sees a place of pilgrimage as merely the water there, but who never identifies himself with, feels kinship with, worships, or even visits those who are wise in spiritual truth, such a person is no better than a cow or an ass.
Okay, continue. Purport.
I will,
Purport.
Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay, purport.
True intelligence is shown by one's freedom from false identification of the self, as stated in the
Brahaspati Samhita. Ajnat Bhagavad Dharma Mantra Vijnana Samvidha Naraste Gokhara Nyeya Api Bhupala Vandita.
Vandita.
yes, Vandita, and who do not know the principles of devotional service to the Supreme Lord should be known as cows and asses, even if they were expert in technically analyzing the Vedic mantras and are adored by the world leaders.
An imperfect Vaishnava advancing towards the second-class platform identifies himself with the sages who have established the true spiritual path, even while he still may have some inferior material attachments to body, family, and so on. Such a devotee of the Lord is not a foolish cow or stubborn ass like the majority of materialists, but most excellent is the Vaishnava who has gained the special mercy of the Lord and broken free from the bondage of illusory attachments altogether. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti, the words Bhauma Ijyadhi, who thinks an image made of earth is worshipable, refer not to the deity form of the Supreme Lord in his temple, but to deities of demigods. And the words Yat Tirtha Buddhi Salile, who sees a place of pilgrimage as merely the water there, refer not to sacred rivers like the Ganges or Yamuna, but to lesser rivers.
Thank you. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Sakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pastacha Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And put on the AC. So this is one of the very often quoted verses by Srila Prabhupada, especially to highlight how materialistic persons who are completely absorbed in material way of life, comparing them to asses and cows. So this in fact was spoken by Lord Krishna, as I mentioned, to the sages who are visited Kurukshetra during the solar eclipse. So he's in fact what he is trying to say is those who are not going to the sages and learning spiritual understanding, if they are doing everything else, they are like cows and asses. Actually, in fact, he is glorifying the association of saintly persons, Krishna himself. And by hearing that, they are people like what he is telling, is God himself and Amara association karke. But then they could understand that yad acharati shrestha tatta deve taro janaha. What a great person does, common man follows. So he is acting in the role to teach others. So if he doesn't do it, others will also give an excuse. So he himself is doing it. So in this verse, Lord Krishna is emphasizing several points which can be a criteria for considering somebody to be like an ass. First thing is the identity. Yashatma buddhi kunape tridatuke. Somebody considers, suppose we ask somebody's identity, who are you? Immediately it's natural. Anybody will say, no, I am so and so. I am from such and such place. I am from such and such family. These are all various, I am from, somebody is from South, he says, I am from Madras, I am from Rajasthan, I am from Gujarat. We identify with things which we are associated with. If you are associated with Gujarat, you are Gujarati. So immediately somebody is in America, then says, I am from India. He is identifying with the country. So India ka andar, kahan hai India ka andar? And if you Gujarati, then Gujarat mein bolega aapko kaun sa gaon mein? See, the identity keeps narrowing down. No? Same village hai, अरे कौन सा family है तुम? अरे हमारे ही family है, हम relative है आपका, distant relative है. Your grandfather, is friend of my grandfather. These are all various criteria for identity. And this boils down to identifying oneself with the body. I am this body. Then Lord Krishna says kunape. Kunape means actually lifeless entity, dead body, inert. This is dead. It doesn't have life, It may even ring, but it is not having life actually. It doesn't have life. Actually, body is also like that. But we don't realize it because always we are observing that it is having so much life. We are energetic, we are doing so many things actually. And it is because of the living force within the body, which is taken for granted. Without the living force, the body cannot actually function, which is clearly demonstrated when the living force leaves the body. Then we call it body, dead body. The difference between living and dead is the presence and absence of the soul. And this body, even though it is inert, it is made in such a way that it works like a fantastic machine. Yantra, this is like yantra. So, and this yantra, a complicated yantra, is made of tridhatus. Kunape tridhatuke. So in modern science, we will say that body is made of what, then their analysis is different. Chemistry, how much potassium, how much calcium, you can find out how much calcium is there, potassium, all kinds of chemicals from modern science point of view. And from Vedic science, from Ayurveda point of view, tridhatus, only three dhatus, Kapha, Pitta, Vayu. Kapha, Pitta, Vayu. And according to Ayurveda, if this Kapha, Pitta, Vayu is in equilibrium, then body is very healthy. And if there is a kind of disorder, some becomes more, Kapha becomes more, then you keep coughing. Cough, Pitta, then Vayu. So when you go to Ayurvedic physician, they will take the nadi, like a modern, they take stethoscope and put it like that. For Ayurvedic physician, nadi. Then you'll say, expert, and you can understand the imbalance kidhar hai. Then you can prescribe. Chalo, ye खाने का नहीं है. ज़्यादा दही खा लिया, इसके लिए तो पकड़ दही मत खाना. Patya, Tridhatu. So this body is made of these Tridhatus actually. And interestingly, this Tridhatu, if it is in proper order, equilibrium, then the body is very healthy and you can think nicely actually. You can function nicely, think nicely. And if it is not, then it will be difficult. So in fact, there is one famous verse, Prabhupada also very often quotes about the Tridhatu going in haywire, especially at the time of death. Kulashekara Alvar says, Krishna Tvadiya Padapankaja Pancharantam Adhyeva me Vishatu Manasa Rajahamsa Prana Prayana Samaye Kapha Pitta Vayu Kanto Varogana Midau Smaranam Kutaste. So these three things have to be in equilibrium to think nicely, no? So Kulashekara is telling, now my mind is very peaceful and I am able to think you, but I don't know at the time of death my Kapha Pitta Vayu is going to go haywire. My throat, generally a dying man, cannot speak distinctly. Cough, pakadta hai na, can't speak. Kapha Pitta Vayu. If my Kapha Pitta Vayu is going to go haywire, I may not be able to think of you. Prana Prayana Same. Prana Prayana means the journey of the prana, journey of the soul. I cannot think of you, but let me think now. So this Kapha Pitta Vayu balance goes out of balance, when one is not in proper health. So Krishna is telling here, the body which is made of this Tridhatu, which is inert, and somebody identifies with the body, and that person is known as Dehatma Buddhi. Deha ka Atma karke samajhta hai. Atma. I am this body. Who are you? I am such and such person. I am so and so. And that is typically Dehatma Buddhi. Identification with the body. This is one criteria. What is then to be identified? Suppose somebody is telling what you are. There is also identification marks are there. Kya karna hai? See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was in Banaras. Sanatana Goswami came from Bengal, resigned. In fact, he didn't resign. He was put in jail. He has to escape, get rid of his post, wanting to join Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Banaras. He was actually Rupa and Sanatan, even in their material life, they were very scholarly people, very intelligent people. They were very scholarly in Sanskrit, Persian language. They were good because they were working under Musalmans. They were very expert in their own scripture also. They were very expert in Persian, Arabic, Persian. And they were considered very intellectual. So when Sanatana Goswami came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he surrendered unto his lotus feet, taking the straw on his mouth. And then first thing he asked is, people say that I am a very learned person, but I am a fool number one. Because I don't know who am I. Please tell me, ki ami? Who am I? Who am I? What am I supposed to do? This is the first question in the spiritual pursuit. Identification. Whenever you are going, people ask identity. Now, who are you? Identification means what? Who are you actually? Instead of you are establishing your identity card. You carry your identity card, PAN card, go to flight, go to college, go to office, identify yourself. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives the first lesson, Shiksha, to Sanatana Goswami. Jiver Swarupa hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. Jiva. So identification is the problem, So we are identifying with the external thing, body. But actually, the spirit soul is the main ingredient of life. Because without spirit soul, life cannot be there. And without the body, soul can go and assume another body actually. Even you don't get a physical body, you can be a ghost also, but still you can exist. But body cannot exist without the no soul. So Jiva, that is Swarupa. There is a Swarupa means natural constitutional position. Nityadas. Krishna Nityadas. So this is actually the identity. Suppose somebody says, who are you? I am Krishna Das. If somebody says, oh, he is a real identity. That is why Das is given at the time of initiation. He says, suppose somebody says, who are you? Somebody says, I am Krishna. You are not Krishna, actually Krishna. But he says, I am Krishna Das. Then that is acceptable. You are servant of Krishna. That is what your original constitutional position is. So, spiritual identity, if one does not consider, and that bodily identity one considers, then is a criteria to be considered for ass and cow. That is the end. No more criteria are coming. So, in fact, the identity of the soul is spiritual. Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. It said in the Upanishad that Aham Brahmasmi. It's a statement from Upanishad. Aham, I. Brahmasmi means I am spiritual. This sentence is very favorite for the Mayavadis. I am Brahman. And then they think that I am Brahman means I am God. Brahman means also God. Brahman means the great. And Brahmeti Paramatmaneti Bhagavan iti sabdyate. God is understood in three levels. Brahman, Paramatman and Bhagavan. So they catch hold of this. Aham Brahmasmi means I am God. The Brahman, I am Brahman. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains, yes, you are Brahman qualitatively, but not quantitatively. Mayavadi philosophy collapses there. Achintya Beda Abeda. Yes, the spirit soul is qualitatively one. Yes, you are one. You are Brahman qualitatively. Because you are also Sachidananda. Brahman is also Sachidananda. You are Anu and he is Vibhu. Qualitatively one. Quantitatively different. That establishes Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. So in this way, one who actually identifies the inert body which is made of Tridhatu, that is not considered very intelligent. Then Krishna goes further to say, Swadi Kalatradishu, and one who considers the relations, family, etc. to be permanent. That is another aspect. Relations are to be there. Relations are there. And how those relations have to be used in such a way that we make progress in Krishna consciousness. That is the important thing. In fact, the materialistic people, they are so attached that they, throughout the life, they will do the activities on the bodily platform of life. Even at the time of death also, they will keep remembering that. Then what happens? Whatever one remembers, yam yam vapi smaran bhavam, tejati anta kalevaram. It is stated how one, at least at the time of leaving the body, he should be fully conscious of Krishna. For that, one has to train oneself. Whole life is a training so that you can remember Krishna. So, but in the material world, people are so much absorbed in the various desires getting fulfilled in their material life, they have no time for thinking outside material aspirations and goals. In fact, it is the temporary nature of the bodily relations. It is very much spoken throughout Bhagavatam. Interestingly, of all the people, Hiranyakashipu speaks. Hiranyaksha was killed by Lord Varaha. Recently there was a Varaha Dwadasi. We spoke on Varaha, Lord Varaha. So, Hiranyaksha was killed. Obviously, somebody is dead in the family, there will be lamentation, no? Especially those who are close relatives, wife, children, close relatives. So, Hiranyaksha's wife and children, they are all crying and lamenting. So, Hiranyakashipu is the elder brother, So, he comes to pacify them. Tell them, soul is permanent, body is temporary. Who is saying? Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu is speaking. Soul is permanent. The soul leaves the body, we should not lament for it. We are all, he is telling, we are all relatives. But this is not permanent. It is like travelers coming together for some time and then they go away in their own way. Nice philosophy. Something like, you get into the train and then so many people come. Different people have different destinations, You can get into August Kranti Express and your destination is Vrindavan. So, Mathura Junction, which is a good destination. But not that everybody is having that destination. So once you get in the train and the same, compartment, somebody sits and you ask, "Aap kahan ja rahe?" So I'm going to Surat. Acha, theek hai. So you be friendly with the person. When Surat comes, then you say that, okay, see you, bye. At the most, take the card, we will meet you sometime. Oh, you are coming there, when you come to my place, you come. Then you don't cry and you don't say that, you are going, what will I do? Because if you knew that your destination is Vrindavan, supposed to be our destination is Vrindavan actually. Somebody is getting down, he says, that is your destination, what can I do? Hiranyakashipu is telling, like that we should not cry. So, in this way, Hiranyakashipu is giving an example, historical account, which also we discuss. Some things are nice to be repeated. Reminders for those who have heard and something good for those who have not heard. He is giving the example of a king. Once there was a king, Suyajna, in the Ushinara province, which I spoke, I think, in your house. So, Hiranyakashipu is giving the example. The king dead in the battlefield and the queen and all them went and they were crying and they were not cremating the body. It is said that unless you cremate the body, the soul cannot go to the next life, next body. If the body is intact, then the soul can come back also. By means of mystic power, he can come back. Yamaraj comes as a small boy and he says, Hiranyakashipu is narrating the story. This Yamaraj in the small boy, you are all grown up, why you are crying? Body is temporary, soul is permanent. And why you people are crying like this? And within the description of Hiranyakashipu, within the story, Yamaraj as a boy is giving another story. Story ka andar, story ka andar, story. So Yamaraj is giving the example. There was a two birds, Kulinga birds, husband, wife, and children, good family, big family. So one day, hunter shot the wife, female Kulinga bird, and the bird died. He caught. And then the male bird is actually crying, oh, what will I do now? How will I take care of all this, my children? And he was crying. And when once your attention, see, bird is supposed to be very alert so that he escapes the, from any dangers. You are not alert, then you are gone, dead. So this the bird's attention was crying and not knowing. Then the hunter was looking for a proper time. That also is gone. So Yamaraj, in the form of a small boy, is telling that time factor is chasing every one of us. And you keep on lamenting, the same time factor is going to swallow you also. So you don't lament like that, the Yamaraj is telling the queen, and that Hiranyakashipu is telling to his relatives, you all don't cry, time is catching up. So we have to be clear that this is part of our life. So in this way, you all become strong and take way forward our life. ये सब लेक्चर देने के बाद वो सोच रहा है how to overcome death. That is Hiranyakashipu. So everybody was pacified. Then he thought, my brother is dead, now what should I do? I should not become dead. Then he went to do tapasya. This is before tapasya. This is like preaching and practicing, different. In ethics, in Vedic practice, you practice before you preach. You can't, because actually preaching is very easy. Practicing is difficult. Everybody should come to Mangalarati. It's very easy to say, no? All devotees should come to Mangalarati. This is very nice. And then you should come to Mangalarati, Lecture दे दिया फिर आया नहीं तो क्या करेगा अभी? Everybody should chant Hare Krishna. 16 rounds you should chant. You know that? Yes. You should be chanting also. One who does not chant, he cannot tell another person. That is no. In material world, this happens. Giving. You also do it, Baba. Don't ask whether I am doing it or not. Typically, material, big lecture, the politician may give lecture and he may not follow. So like that, Hiranyakashipu is he is the founder acharya of this kind of people actually. So he went to do. So here, so identifying with the relation, strong attachment, and that is another criteria to be considered as cow and ass. Lord Krishna is giving the list of things to be considered. Second list is considering the strong attachment to the relations. Then the question will ask, then what to do with the relatives? One has to understand the clear what is one's duty in particular ashrama and varna. One has to do the dharma, swadharma. Arjuna, what Krishna was telling, do your swadharma. You are a kshatriya, you should fight. He didn't say that he didn't initiate him and give him a bead back and go and chant karke to bola nahi. He said, do your swadharma. You are a kshatriya and you want to run away from the battlefield. What is that? So in a particular ashrama and varna, one should execute his duty, and that execution of the duty should be in Krishna consciousness. That is important. There should be a Krishna conscious dimension to the activity that we perform. So like, Prabhupada was explaining, in Prabhupada Leela Amrita you are reading, Yes, the relations will be there, but how to make it Krishna conscious is also there. Krishna consciousness, everything is there. It's allowed. So in the ashramas, brahmachari ashram also is there, grahastha ashram is also there. Brahmachari ashram dharma alag hai. Grahastha ashram dharma is different. Vanaprastha, sannyas ashram there is a different dharma also. So depending upon which ashrama one is in, when he engages in Krishna consciousness, then it actually helps a person to progress in spiritual life. Purification. The whole idea is Cheto Darpana Marjana. Consciousness has to be purified. So the entire spiritual practice that we are doing is towards how to purify the consciousness. So depending upon one's own situation, when one engages in activities, not only maintaining the body, because that is required, doing a job, earning money, that is required to maintain the body, but then adding the Krishna conscious dimension is very important. When that is added, then it becomes complete. And that is allowed. But on the other hand, somebody is completely absorbed in materialistic desires and the materialistic way of life, cow and ass. Krishna is still criteria. Then Krishna is telling, Bhauma Ijja, the Bhauma means actually Bhumi, earth. Earth, the place of birth is worshipable. Somebody thinks that I am born in this place, this is, I should be patriotism. We call it patriotism. You know? So I am India, I am born in India, I should be very loyal to India, I should be patriot, I should be ready to sacrifice anything for my country. This country has Matru Bhumi, Matru Bhasha. This is all my, you know, I am born here, so I should be identifying with this. So now Russia is invading Ukraine, and Ukraine is telling everybody take your guns and you fight. Matrubhumi, we should defend our country. We should not run away. Even though enemy is very powerful actually, unka samne kya hai? In all aspects they have more, you know, to superpower. But why they are not running away? They says, no, why should we run away? We should lay down, even if you are going to die, fine. Ready to give up the life for our mother country, for our country of birth. So, independence is part of it. Why somebody else should control us? This is my place and I am living here, I should be independent. Interestingly, 100 years back, 1922, Srila Prabhupada was taken to meet Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in number 1, Ulta Danga Junction Road, Kolkata. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was there, and the Prabhupada went to meet, and the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was giving some discourse. He said, the message of Lord Chaitanya should be spread all over the world. And he asked, Abhay Charan De, he was there. What are you doing? I'm studying in Scottish Church College. Oh, you speak English? Yes. You should preach the message of Bhagavad Gita all over the world. Prabhupada said, we are already under British. We should get first independence. After that we will preach. Everybody will listen to us. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, Krishna consciousness cannot wait for anything. You cannot wait. Independence, you are not what? In the body you are already entangled. You get independence in your body. No, what is there? The external independence. Whether British is there or somebody else comes. Sometimes some people say that during the British period things are better. Sometimes people say actually, at least अपना आदमी ज्यादा cheating करता है. So this happened actually 100 years back. That the whole idea was, Prabhupada was into Gandhian movement, our country, Bharat Mata ki Jai. So unless Bharat Mata is now entangled, no, we should liberate her. Then after that, everything is possible. No. This is external. Message of Lord Chaitanya, in the message of Lord Chaitanya, the whole world is entangled actually. Sabko liberation then again. This liberation has nothing to do with that liberation. So in this way, somebody who considers the place of birth is worshipable, and then gives the life. Suppose somebody may say that I am sacrificing my life for my land of birth. And somebody else is telling, no, I will preach Bhagavad Gita. I'm not sacrificing my life. Somebody says that, what is this? This is a place of birth. You are not doing this sacrifice. You are very selfish. In fact, Subhash Chandra Bose was having Indian National Army. And at the time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was preaching very strongly. And a lot of young people joined him, Gaudiya Math. And Subhash Chandra Bose came and he said, why are you recruiting all these young people? I want them for liberation. I want them for army. So why don't you preach to the old people, young people? See, this is our parampara, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati lekkarki young people ko bhakta banata hai. And generally people think that chanting is for old people, And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati made young people devotees. Some brahmachari bana diya, sannyasi bana diya. Same parampara to hame chal raha hai. So Subhash Chandra Bose came and said, why are you making them devotees? You should give them to army and they should fight for the country. So let's see the baito. He preached to him. He said, Subhash Chandra Bose was supposed to have said, if I have met you some time back, I would have joined you also. अभी नहीं, अभी थोड़ा बहुत कुछ हो गया, अभी रिवर्स में नहीं आ सकता है. So that is the power of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Simha Guru, Lion Guru. So our philosophy doesn't restrict to the place. Yes, we respect Bharat Mata ki Jai to hai. हम तो दूसरा कुछ नहीं बोल रहे. But then we cannot be narrow-minded on the bodily platform, on the physical platform. It should go transcendental. Yes, Bharat Shrestha hai, Bharat Mahan hai. Not just because we are here. It is because Krishna came here, Rama came here, all the avatars came here. It's a transcendental place, the place of spiritual practice. Because of that, it is Mahan. Not just because, because I am born here, it should be great. Not just because we are born here, because, this land is spiritualized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead coming and by the devotees of the Lord, which is coming. The sadhus, they purify the place. The next thing, Krishna is telling, we should keep remembering, this is all stated by Krishna. Yatirtha buddhi salile, pilgrimage. We go for yatra, the place of pilgrimage. Place of pilgrimage, generally there is a body of water. Suppose you go to Prayagraj, Ganga and Yamuna, go to Haridwar, Ganga, go to Banaras, Ganga, Pushkar, lake is there. Prabhas Kshetra, Dwaraka, Prabhas, these are all different holy places. Ayodhya, Sarayu Nadi. So people go there to get purified. Purification comes, you go and take bath in the water, you get purified also. Especially take bath in Ganga, your sins are purified. Oh, Hari Bol, my trip to Haridwar is successful. I took bath already. Right? Krishna says, not enough. If one thinks, Krishna says, the place of pilgrimage is just to take bath, then ass. In fact, again interestingly coming to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was in Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati started Brajamandal Parikrama. He used to take the entire Gaudiya Math, different places visiting. So they were in Radhakund. Srila Prabhupada went to see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati in Radhakund. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was giving lecture. His topics were very high. Sometimes it will be like bouncer. And the lectures were going on, and he had several senior disciples, sannyasis and all. And many of them were going to different, in Radhakund and different places like Govardhan देखने का है, मुखारविंद में दर्शन लेने का है, Govardhan परिक्रमा करना है, Radhakund में दर्शन लेना है. So different devotees went to see places. And Prabhupada was a grahastha actually, right? So he was sitting and hearing. And Prabhupada later said, actually, I was not understanding everything. But then I was hearing, I wanted to hear my Guru Maharaj, so I was hearing. And this Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati noted, he likes to hear, he will be able to preach nicely. And some people went for seeing the places, He said it is gymnastics of eyes, eye exercise. Different exercise, body exercise hota hai na? Like that, going seeing is eye exercise. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati was very heavy. That is why lion, lion के पास जाकर के क्या ऐसा fighting थोड़ी कर सकता है, थोड़ा दूर रखना पड़ेगा, बराबर follow करना पड़ेगा. So this is, you can see, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, going to the holy place is to actually not just to take bath. It is to actually get the association of the devotees who can actually purify the inside. Purification के लिए तो गया, तो पानी में नहाया, purification went outside, inside कौन purify करेगा? That is more stronger stain. Sometimes in the cloth, if you get some ink, sometimes ink doesn't go. You just try to wash, doesn't go. है कि नहीं? तो नहीं जाता, क्या करेगा? Very strong. That requires some special bleaching effort. So the association of devotees, that can actually purify. That which cannot be purified by even the holy places. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in the purport that these holy places are not Ganga and Yamuna, but other rivers, other smaller. Ganga and Yamuna being directly in touch with the Supreme Lord, they are special category. Ganga by touching the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu, and Yamuna by bathing Lord Krishna every day actually. Every day Krishna was going to take bath, So in that way, they are very special. So in this way, those people who are not interested to take association of the spiritually advanced saints and sages and get the message of Krishna consciousness so that they can be implemented in one's life. Those who are not interested go to the holy place but not interested to hear, but only to take bath. So Lord Krishna says, Sayeva Gokaraha. These people are compared to cow and asses. In fact, as very typical characteristic is that it works very hard for something which is very easily available. In the villages, the washerman, Dhobi, keeps horses, the asses, and the ass, he puts the load, he collects the entire cloth from the entire village, puts on the back of the ass, goes to the Ghat river, few kilometers, washes and brings back. And during the day, he allows the ass to eat little bit grass, which is already on the bank of the river actually. He didn't grow it. It's not that he has cultivated it and he's allowing very mercifully, chalo mera grass hai. Unka grass nahi hai, Bhagwan ka grass hai. Khane ke liye deti hai. Ass is very happy, dekho, my master is so magnanimous. He allowed me to eat this nice green grass. He could have walked also himself and eaten actually. He is happy. Then he comes back carrying the same load, exactly same weight. He comes home, again he is allowing him to eat little bit grass around the house. That also cultivated by God. And the donkey, the ass, is doing every day this. And this is like the materialistic people who work very hard day and night for simple little pleasure, which is available anyway otherwise also. Interestingly, Lord Krishna is also comparing alongside as the cow, which is very dear to Krishna himself. Cow, Gopal, he is a Gopala, Govinda. He protects the cow, and he is giving that example to people who are, Gokara. Go is connected to the people who are materially attached, who consider the place of birth as a worshipable place. So Platini is busy babysitting. क्या हुआ? Okay. अच्छा. So somebody who is very attached, somebody who thinks the body as the self, is comparing here. Interestingly, why we should be also clear, cow is a very auspicious animal. All the demigods take residence in her body and gives nectar, milk. In spite of all these things, comparing to somebody alongside us, actually donkey, the cow has a very special quality of affection to the calf. In fact, the cow generally gives milk. The cow has more milk than the calf can actually drink. Some milk is reserved for us. So generally, the covered man, they first allow the calf to drink. पहला calf को छोड़ना पड़ता है. ऐसे नहीं calf को नहीं छोड़े तो दूध नहीं मिलेगा. पहला calf, then the calf will go start drinking milk. When the calf start drinking the milk, the cow becomes very affectionate, and it will start actually licking the calf. If you want to see, you can go to the Goshala and find out whether these are all there or not. The cow will start licking, oh, my calf, mera beta, beti, jo bhi hai, my child, So he becomes very overwhelmed. And then she will release all the, otherwise she will be holding them, she will release all the milk. All the milk will be ready to be milked from the udder. Then the covered man, थोड़ा पीने के बाद क्या करेगा, काफ को पकड़ेगा, बांध लेगा, then दूध निकालेगा. So without the calf, cow will not release the milk. Sometimes, due to some reason, suppose the calf died. Sometimes it happens. Then the cow will be seeing, "Arey, mera calf, utta nahi," it will go and lick actually. Generally animals, they go and try to lick, and the calf is not getting up. Not getting up means it is in front of its own eye, right? Then now, what usually the covered people do, they will take the calf and then they will remove the skin, outer skin, complete skin. Complete skin. Because the calf is attached to the external skin, not the body. Each calf knows who is the mother, and the mother also knows who is his calf. Not that इनका calf को उनके पास जाएगा तो कुछ नहीं करेगा. Hey, जाओ तुम मेरा नहीं. For us, it may look like all calves are looking like that and all cows are looking like that. No, it is like every Chinese is looking like Chinese. उधर जाएगा तो सब मालूम पड़ेगा इतना. नहीं तो the calf exactly knows because of the skin, body, color, and etc. So a covered man, what he'll do, he'll remove the entire skin and he will stuff paddy husk. Paddy husk stuff करेगा तो वो calf जैसा बन जाएगा. With exact skin, same skin. Now, without the calf, दूध निकालना नहीं होगा कुछ. दूध नहीं आएगा. So what the covered man will do, he will bring that calf. Morning लेके आएगा. कड़ा कर देगा. हाँ आ गया. Very nice. It will start licking actually. The calf is not drinking the milk. It is only standing there. उसको घुमा दिया. पीछे दिखा रहा. आगे तो नहीं दिखा सकता. When the calf is going to drink, the back of the calf is towards the head of the cow. The cow will say, अरे मेरा calf है. मेरा बच्चा आ गया. So it will start licking. Start releasing the milk. Covered man, remove the milk. हो गया सुबह का काम. Loft में रख दो. Calf को loft में रख दिया. शाम को निकाल. This can go on every day. If the cow is not sick, usually what happens after drinking, the calf will be playing around. He will no. अरे क्या दूध निकालेगा बाद में किधर चला जाता. Even though it knew that the calf is dead, the attachment to the body, attachment to the external appearance, attachment to the skin is so strong, which the calf cannot overcome. So those who are attached bodily, they are compared there on the bodily platform. Strong attachment on the bodily platform. Krishna is comparing those people to cow. So cow is good, but don't be attached like cow. Cow mera, it's my animal only, but then no. Kali, worship karo, but then don't follow the footsteps. Don't follow the footsteps. So in this way, the bodily attachment is discouraged. One has to know clearly where to draw the line, how much to be attached, how much to be detached. Both have to be balanced. It cannot be one-sided. It cannot be all detached, all attached like that. So in fact, the true intelligence, it is mentioned, is demonstrated by how we are actually drawing the line and making a balance. Otherwise, it is not only Krishna is telling, in the purport it is quoted saying that in Brahaspati Samhita, it is also stated that if somebody is not knowing the principles of devotion and if and simply devotion is not there, but is very expert in the Vedic scripture analyzing and all, that is also compared to cow and us. Can you imagine? Somebody is expert in scripture, somebody expert in analyzing the Vedas and all, but then not come to the conclusion of executing the devotional service. And Brahaspati Samhita says that is also exactly Gokaraha. Gokaraha. Krishna uses the same thing, Gokaraha, here. That is also considered. पूछ के आओ, नहीं तो लाया कि नहीं तभी. So in the purport, it is written that suppose somebody is engaged in devotional service and he is attached to the family, to relatives, etc. What about that? So it is described that in the process of devotional service, even if a devotee is somewhat attached, but he is sincerely executing the devotional service, take care. Because the devotional service is so potent that by practicing that, purification can happen. That doesn't give a license that हम तो कर ही रहे ना चलो we don't have to worry about it. No, one has to be actually alert. One has to be very clear, knowing that devotional service is important in our life, and that purifies our heart. And material engagement and material attachments certainly does the reverse of that, entanglement. Devotional service untangles. Material activity entangles. So we have to make a balance in such a way that material engagements have to be there so that our material needs are there. You know, we are in the material world, there are material needs. To fulfill the material needs, you have to do some material activity. But then how to do the material activity but still not attached? It is a art. Exactly like how to be in the water and not be wet, like a lotus leaf. Padma Patra, Ivambase. Lord Krishna says, how to be there? You be in the material world but not be affected. How is that if he has, yes, the leaf, lotus leaf is in the water, you try to make it wet, it won't. Because it has got a waxy coating. How to be in the material world? Yes, you be in the material world, you may make a waxy coating. What is waxy coating? That waxy coating is the coating of devotional service. You make your devotional service in such a way that the devotional service does not affect you to be completely influenced by the material nature. Doesn't allow. It is there, but it don't get affected. That is possible. Is it possible? Yes, why not? That is the speciality of devotional service. Because Krishna consciousness is so powerful that by practicing Krishna consciousness, one actually develops the natural quality of being immune to being affected by the material nature. For that, one has to be very sincere and serious in devotional service. If the blessings of the Lord, the blessings of the devotees are there, nothing is impossible. And one can be having all the opulence also, but not attached to it also. It's quite possible. Generally, if opulence is there, somebody may get attached. Somebody may get completely entangled. The typical case is of Sudama Vipra. He was so poor and his wife sent him to Krishna to get some charity. Krishna did not physically give the charity in Dwaraka, but he endowed all kinds of opulences in Porbandar, the Sudamapuri. And it is said that the opulence was, even surpassing actually the heavenly opulence. A poor Brahmana and his family. But it is stated that Sudama was so absorbed in Krishna consciousness, even though he had such an opulence that even Indra was envious of it. For Indra to be, he is always envious anyway. But then, the opulence that Krishna endowed by just taking one handful of poha, so much opulence, surpassed the heavenly opulences. But Sudama was never affected by such opulence because he was always thinking, Krishna is so great, he was so wonderful, how nice he treated me. How, even though I went after so long, I'm a poor fellow, Brahmana, and he is such a wonderful, rich person, and how he was thinking. That thinking is Krishna consciousness. Krishna Chaitanya ka phone laga ke pucho. But where they are taking prasad? They are taking prasad there? You call? You ask Krishna Chaitanya. I told him to keep prasad where he kept. Maybe inside the room also. So in that way, here Lord Krishna is explaining about how a person should be very, very intelligent enough to make a balance in one's material and spiritual needs. If the balance is not proper, then one may be in all chances completely entangled, which will make the person to be considered like an ass or cow. On the other hand, when one is clear about his constitutional position and is very clear that my spiritual goal is there, my material needs are there. For my material needs, I will do something, but that doesn't affect my spiritual goal, my spiritual goal that I need to achieve. So when one is clear, then the balance by means of which he will give so much emphasis to the Krishna consciousness that he will be able to overcome all the influences of the material world and purify his consciousness so that he can actually achieve the perfection of